Hey guys, welcome back to another chapter review for One Piece, chapter 1148. And I already want to skip right to the end where we get a showcase from our boy, Scopper Gaban, but let's save that for later. And immense showcase on his part, but let's go through the chapter 1148, Ronja, where we cut right where we left off with following through with the kids, and they're following the arrow and they separate the best kid, man. Swear to God, the best kid. But I have a theory for it, right? I think everybody kind of probably is gonna come up to this conclusion, but let's go through the chapter and I'll insert the theory, right? But the best one from last chapter, she's just like, everything is fine. Everything will be okay. Everything will work itself out, right? Man. But immediately Summer says, separate one of them. Gunko separate one of them and give them 30 seconds, right? And he tells Ja Rule, which all of a sudden is in charge because he is pretty much the oldest standing member. There's no king, official king. There's no old standing member. It's just like they know Ja Rule by name, kind of. They don't, right? So it's a little odd, but he is the oldest one. I feel like the Holy Knights would know this specific giant because he's been there the longest. And they say you have 30 seconds to burn down the library and burn down the school. And Summers also specifies why we want you cannot save any of the books. We want things to be deleted specifically from your past, your history. We just want you as warriors. All the giants are conversing. They just want us to fight. They want us to bend the knee. We got to go fight them. We got to stop. Somebody has to stop this. And they're explaining who is the one that's separated. Meanwhile, Robin is gonna go and attack because she says herself, I can't keep my emotions in check. So she's already so frustrated, and there's a tipping point where Summers says, we want you to delete your history, and she kind of bursts out into attack, but she surprise attacks Summers. Let me make sure I don't miss anything before that engagement, right? And we have Jinbei, and I feel so conflicted with Jinbei's position here because Jinbei is just tied up. You're watching a kid about to die, right? Let's just assume this kid is 100% gonna die, and you're helpless, man. I feel like it feels weird because it places Gunko and Summers in a position where they're kinda, if not just Gunko is stronger than fourth strongest on Luffy's crew, Straw Hat crew, right? I am very conflicted about that positioning. Unless Gunko is like a top two, right? Like Zoro has to fight Gunko or top three, right? Sanji has to be the one that fights Gunko, which won't happen because it's a woman. Sanji won't fight women, so it's like it's a really weird positioning on Gunko's strength, and Jinbei still being tied up and just not able to do anything and being the fourth strongest on his crew. Just, I don't know if anybody else feels that way. Please let me know. Leave a comment or something about it. Let me know what your thoughts are on the chapter. But yeah, it's super weird. Frankie is on the way. What else? All the other giants are on the way. Hopefully Frankie's able to make a dent. Although, what I wanted to mention from last chapter, and even this one, let's continue with the chapter, where Robin is surprise attacks Summers and uses a Cien Floor on him, does damage. Like they're all doing damage, and she even is able to overwhelm him and crack. He knows who this is. He calls Robin out by name, and she is able to crack him in half, basically killing Summers if he had no immortality. Which also makes me remember, so Usopp was strong enough. I don't know if Gunko let the bomb hit out of intimidation. Obviously, like with immortality, there comes being a little naive with things that hitting you. So you're just taking hits you shouldn't be taking because you know you're immortal, you're not gonna die. So she probably took that attack, right? I think she took that attack from Usopp, but she is able to kill Gunko if she had no immortality, which makes me think, okay, without the immortality, they're gonna be a lot weaker, right? So in this case, Robin is able to overwhelm and even defeat let's say, without immortality, and if they figure out how to damage them and keep permanent damage, she was able to take out Sommers. And this would be a very good matchup for Robin because of everything that he's done and how diabolical he is. But yeah, she cracks, and then he's able to just stand up and he cracks his neck back in place, and he's counting down 20 more seconds. So 10 seconds have passed since he started the countdown. And also, one thing is, where's Gunko? Because Robin took out Summers, and then she's trying to cut the bandage or arrows off, and she says this isn't working. Where's Gunko? Gunko's right there. Gunko's just not gonna let you get away with this. Anyway, that was just a little threw me off from the whole situation. But Gunko is still there, as we see later in the chapter. Robin looks like she sacrifices herself, which is great. Robin's so smart, she already knows the next step that she was going to do. She can't fight him physically, and she knows that it's a thorn fruit. There's no point in getting close, so she throws a clone at him, and throws him off. And we get a gruesome image of him just using spikes on anybody that comes near, and it looks like it impales Robin. We know it's a clone, thankfully. And he's able to just catch himself. Obviously, he uses his own thorns like a whip, and he just propels himself back upwards. And we get such a tear-jerker of a moment here with Ronja, who's saying, if it costs my life to save the school that I've created so many memories with, so much to keep the history, to keep everything. And I'm just like, you're a kid. There's so much, like, but they're like 20 something years old, right? But they're still kids. But I don't know, it's very mature of what she's saying. She's saying, I'm gonna be fine. Please don't burn down the school and library. I'm sure I'll be okay. I'm always lucky. So I'm just like, no. Why did they have to single this one out? It couldn't have been anybody else. But of course, I don't know how Oda did it. He just picked one of our favorite characters. Well, obviously. And Jarul, this rat, man, this Jarul guy is very suspicious because I'm just like, there's something like, I feel like he would have said anyways, he's the one that wanted to go into warrior ways. And I feel like he would have said, burn the school down anyway. Burn the library, let's go back to Elbaf ways. But I digress. I'm still keeping an eye on Jarul. I don't trust this guy 100% because of that sword through his head. But yeah, he says that, I think that's his granddaughter. Please save, okay, burn down, Angie, burn down the school, burn everything down that they're saying. Please, just save our kid. And tears from everybody. Robin starts getting captured with thorns because Summers shows up again. She can't get away. And we get the badass moment from the chapter where Summers looks at, first of all, his hand gets cut off and he's like, oh, it's not recovering. And he just gets destroyed and freaks out when his reaction to seeing Scopper Gaban is hilarious. And he just gets cut. But first, the most important thing is he's not recuperating. And that's the end of the chapter. There. It doesn't say break, but I did hear that there might be a break next week. Unfortunately. Did I insert? Yes, I did insert the theory of that. But, oh, right. So the theory of the girl, Ronja, right? So she is, they're saying this is right above the realm of the dead. So she is going to fall 100%. She's 100% going to fall because they said, don't burn the school. Just keep everything. And Gunko's just going to say you didn't respond or whatever. So just throws one off, right? She throws Ronja off. How do I feel about this? Like, is Scopper Gaban going to be able to catch her? I want to say no. But she is very, very lucky. And since it's right above Realm of the Dead, she's going to land right on top of Loki. Not Luffy. Loki's stomach, because he's engorged. Remember, he just finished eating a full meal. And Luffy is right there and is going to see what well, she's gonna say, I fell from above, they need help, your crew needs help, they're fighting up there. Luffy's gonna dart up there. Loki's probably gonna stay recovering, but Luffy is gonna be darting up there because he senses something, and Scopper Gabon's just released a bunch of hockey, I assume. So that's the first theory, right? She's gonna land on top of them. She won't make it. Even it might even take a whole chapter for her to fall because Oda's gonna take a while as she's falling, or it ends with her falling on top of Loki. That's what I think is gonna happen there. But this whole discourse, he says, Scopper Gabon says, long time no see. So they've met before, and because of them meeting before, he knows exactly what to do to damage them, and they've probably met on the God's Valley, which makes sense. Obviously, he's met Summers before. God's Valley is the incident where the Roger Pirates fought with the Holy Knights. Makes sense. Everything makes sense. And I want to say, we see it's Conqueror's hockey, right? No, we see it's hockey, but we don't know what hockey. And I do think, like what I said, prediction theory from last time is they're all gonna have to level up, and Luffy's gonna have to know how to fight the Holy Knights, and so do Sanji, so do Zoro, and the closest ones that relate to Scopper Gabon, Rayleigh, and Roger, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. So I'm thinking that Sanji, like we saw in Egghead Island, the reason, one of them, the Phoenix was already on the chair when they were all the Gorosei were teleported back. And I think it's because of Conqueror's Hockey, which was similar to the one Joy Boy sent out. I think it's Conqueror's Hockey that is the reason they're able to break through and not keep regenerating. So Scopper Gabon just got semi-confirmed, if that's the method that they use, Advanced Conqueror's Hockey to cut the Holy Knights so they don't regenerate. I'm thinking that's it. So, I think that's the one that's it. I mean, Sanji's gonna be able to get Conqueror's Hockey in this case. Maybe even Usopp's might get Conqueror's Hockey to be able to damage the Gorosei. I know this might be Usopp's chapter, guys. This one's it. It's telling me, man. It's yelling like, Usopp has to get a power up. Somebody else needs a power. Man, if Frankie gets Conqueror's Hockey, I'd lose my mind. All right, I'd lose my mind. But he is, I feel like one of the most determined. Brooks. Let me not get too ahead of myself, but I feel like there are Straw Hats that would do really well with Conqueror's Hockey. But yeah, I mean, let me think of anything else. Predictions for next chapter. Oh, I have my cat here. Let me just show. Oh, yeah. All right. Just looking around. So predictions for next chapter would be, she made me lose track of thought here. Let me put you down. The little girl falls, right? She's 100% gonna fall because she's lucky. She has to start falling because of what's it called? Gunko has to release the arrow or whatever. Like, this was your first warning. Please, this is your first warning. Don't disobey. Tell them to keep burning the fire, and we send down one of the kids. We kill one of the kids right now. And she throws down Ronja and she falls. That's the first one prediction. And the next predictions are gonna be, I don't know if, like, I feel like Scopper Gabon, he's old though. Like, he's not what he used to be, right? So he's gonna be able to hold them off. But even Summers and Gunko at the same time, with nobody else able to do damage to the Gorosei, I mean the Holy Knights, without them regenerating, I feel is going to be too overwhelming for him. And they're going to have to retreat back off or strategically leave or something. Unless Ronja comes in clutch. Actually, that's probably what it's going to be. Ranja comes in clutch. Luffy goes up there to fight the Holy Knights. But that's like chapters way ahead. That's like 2 chapters from now. For next one, it's just going to be conversation, probably a little flashback of Somers fighting Scopper Gabon, maybe a little bit of not Holy Land, God's Valley action. But that's it for me, guys. I end the chapter review there. Please let me know what else I can improve. Please leave me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.